Woo! Woo! Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope y'all are having a good day. Good morning. Come on. Hey man, if you're not dancing right now, I need y'all to dance right now. Come on now. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Let's have some fun today. Let's be in a good mood. And let's be positive right now. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome. I have one more track to show you guys. And this was a track that we were finishing up yesterday's stream, and I finally finished it last night doing some tweaks. And I will say, your boy, me, I may have recorded a line, some bars here or there in this track. This track is a powerhouse, very heavy, and there's a lot of vibes in this track, but mostly heavy. So this track is called Don't Play. This is not any means necessarily my hip-hop debut. This is just for fun. I'm not a rapper.
You know you can't contain me. 'Cause I'm going to the top and you know you can't stop me. 'Cause I'm never looking back on my fears, they try to chase me. I'm sorry, yeah, I'm really sorry. Try to reach my goals now, ain't got time to party. Focus on my changes that I need to make and possibly arrange my entire existence.
Come on! I'm really proud of this track. I mean, I'm proud of all my tracks, but I'm proud of this one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Bitch, I ain't the one, so you better not play me. Better watch your step, cause you know you can't contain me. I'm going to the top, and you know you can't stop me. Cause I'm never looking back on my fears, they try to chase me. I'm sorry, yeah, I'm really sorry. Try to reach my goals now, ain't got time to party. Focus on my changes that I need to make, and possibly arrange my entire existence.
Go stupid. Oh, yes. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. That's the name of the track. Don't play. That's the name of the track. So that's the one we finished last stream. Um, and after the stream was over, I went back and made a few tweaks and changes, little changes, and then I added my vocals on there. That was I think that was the last thing I did, right? Yeah. I added my vocals towards the end. So I am no way, shape, or form a rapper. But sometimes I just have that feeling that I just want to rap. So it happened. I actually have another track that is not finished yet. It's not ready to be displayed quite yet. But that one I also uh I don't know if I rap on there too, but it's more like a anthem-y kind of situation. But it's in the vault. It's still a work in progress. But with that being said, yeah, that's a track that we finished yesterday. The first two tracks obviously were if you guys aren't new to the stream and you've been following the streaming journey for so long, those first two tracks we actually made on stream, which was about a week ago. Um, so we are three tracks in. We're three tracks finished within the span of 2 weeks, which is unheard of for me because I never made three tracks in a span of 2 weeks. At least not in a very long time. But um but I am proud that years of just trial and error is finally paying off. So I'm more confident and happier with my music now than I was a few years ago. So and I'm glad that it's taking form to the way how I want it. So it's Saturday morning. I don't know. I didn't, well, let me just say this while I fix my mic. Um, I didn't necessarily have a plan today. I was kind of, I was looking to see if there's any videos to watch, and I couldn't find any up until last night. So we have some YouTube videos today that we're going to react to. Um, we reacted to Drewski's Could Have Been Love, both episodes 2 and 3 yesterday. I thought it was episode 2 that was out the day before, but I was gravely mistaken. I missed episode 2 last week. So we reacted to both episodes yesterday. Pretty funny, very entertaining. Um, I think that was the only thing from YouTube, at least, that we reacted to, because it was about 2.5 hours long to react to both videos. And then we went into Logic and obviously finished up the track. So today we are going to react to, okay, so this past week, Microsoft has been in the talks lately because apparently they just announced their first topological quantum chip called Majorana 1, I think that's how you say it, Majorana 1. I'm not entirely too sure what this chip is, but some people say that they single-handedly created a new state of matter. So if you don't know what a state of matter is, it's we have three: solids, liquids, and gas. So solid, water, or solid, ice, liquid, water, gas, vapor, right? The three stages of matter, right? And I guess the fourth stage would technically be plasma, the very element you would find, the very state of matter you would find in lightning or electricity. So this could be the fifth state of matter. I'm not too sure how it works, but that's what word on the street is. So apparently this chip, Microsoft has been working on quantum computers for 20 plus years, because they started this project, I believe, back in 2005. And 20 years later, they finally got this chip. So we're about to watch this video on basically somebody explaining what this chip, surface level, what it can do. So with that being said,
Microsoft have just announced the Majorana.
With that being said, let's go full screen. Let's do, you know, boom. Here we are. Let's get it.
Microsoft have just announced the Majorana 1 chip,
Majorana,
the world's
okay.
first topological qubit, and it's gotten kind of a lot of attention. But unlike normal quantum computers, Microsoft's chip doesn't use the quantum states of localized atoms, ions, or photons. It stores quantum information across a surface or topology, making it resilient to the noise that currently limits quantum computation and potentially finally giving us a viable, scalable way to realize a quantum computer. And you know, it's kind of going to be a wild video when I have to start with in normal quantum computers. As part of this breakthrough announcement, Microsoft gave me exclusive access to some of the key team members behind the breakthrough to try and better understand what is exactly going on here and how big of a deal this really could be.
We had to essentially invent a new state of matter.
But my words and my opinions are my own. I want to understand, how does this new approach to quantum work? Why is it potentially so powerful? And what does it unlock for us? I want to explain why I think it's a big deal, what the Majorana 1 chip means, but also what it doesn't mean. And I'd really like an answer as to why the word Majorana makes me question my ability to read and write. Let's start with the easy stuff. How to build an impossible computer using laws of the universe we don't fully understand with a particle we don't know how to pronounce. Let's dive in.
For the first time ever, our computer lab actually has a computer in it.
Quantum computers promise something extraordinary, computing power that could one day outstrip the most powerful supercomputers on the planet, that could revolutionize material science, drug discovery, and optimization problems that are practically impossible for classical computers to solve. But there is one big problem. noise. Quantum computers today are incredibly fragile. The very thing that makes them powerful, quantum mechanics, is also what makes them difficult to control. To understand why they break so easily, we have to understand that measuring a qubit, which can be 0, 1, or somewhere in between, involves looking at it. Either we shine a light on it, apply an electric or magnetic field to it, or we use some other interaction to extract information. But the very act of measurement disturbs the system, and we say collapses the wave function. That means it stops being a blend of 0 and 1 and settles into being one or the other. The problem comes when this observation happens midway through our computation. If a stray photon, a minor temperature fluctuation, or even a vibration at the atomic level, any of these can collapse the qubit state prematurely, called decoherence, and the quantum computation is lost. That is why, around all quantum computers, we see this shrouding on the outside of an otherwise very shiny setup straight out of sci-fi fantasy. It does a few things. It creates a vacuum chamber in which all air can be pumped out of so no stray atoms can bump into and interrupt a quantum computation. It also allows the system to be cooled down to about 50 millikelvin. That's just 0.05 degrees above absolute zero. This temperature, not even the atoms move.
You don't understand how cold that is. 0.05, like whatever the measurement was. That is there's no words to really describe how cold that, like, in my mind, outer space isn't even that cold. Like, that's the crazy part. Absolute zero is so cold. Even if you stepped into a room that is absolute zero, you would freeze instantaneously just by the door opening. Like, that's how cold that is. Jesus.
In comparison, deep space, the space between the stars, is a balmy 2.7 Kelvin. Or
Oh,
compared
see?
to Antarctica's coldest recorded temperature of 184 Kelvin, or
Kelvin.
minus 88 degrees Celsius, well, this thing is just really, really cold. The shrouding also shields against electromagnetism, light, RF frequencies from your phone antenna, any magnetic field or signals that may influence the system, all in an attempt to keep this quantum state preserved. But at the moment, it still isn't enough.
A quasi particle from outside is just going to disturb the state in a second, it's all gone. You're already running at 50 super low temperatures, but you're still not in a regime where you can manipulate the device successfully.
Qubits are still exceptionally delicate and cause computation-destroying errors, and unless we solve this issue, quantum computers may never reach their potential. Now here you might be thinking, well, why not just fix those errors? After all, in classical computers, we have error correction built in. If a bit flips due to electrical noise, redundancies in the system catch it and correct it, or at the very least it helps you set a speed record in Mario. But quantum error correction is a completely different challenge. Because of the no cloning theorem, you can't just copy qubits like you would classical bits. Instead, quantum computers use a process called quantum error correction codes, where multiple physical qubits work together to form a single, more stable, logical qubit. These error correction schemes require a huge amount of redundancy. In today's leading quantum systems, like superconducting qubits, one logical qubit might require hundreds or even thousands of physical qubits just to keep it stable. So to build a full quantum computer with just 1,000 logical qubits, you'd actually need millions of physical qubits just to make it work. And this isn't just an inconvenience, this is a fundamental barrier to scaling quantum computers. You are looking at a useful quantum computer that needs to be the size of a football stadium. But what if, instead of constantly fighting against the noise, you could design a system where noise simply didn't matter as much? A system where the quantum information was protected not by redundancy.
Hold on. Hold on. Cause what's a qubit? That's what I want to know. Like, what is is it a molecule? Is it an atom? Like, what is it? Qubit? Oh, it's short for quantum bit. Okay. Qubit or quantum bit is a basic unit of information used to encode data in quantum computing, and it can be best understood as the quantum equivalent of the traditional bit used by classical computers to encode information in binary. So in other words, I still don't know what this is. How many bits is 1 qubit? 1 qubit can store 1 bit of information, but it can also store more information using super dense coding. Okay, the only way I can wrap my head around what a qubit is basically I just realized it said is 1 qubit equals one. What does it say? 1 qubit is equals to 1 bit of information. But it's funny because it's almost like you're actually saying it just knows 1 bit of information, but not anyway. The only way I can understand qubit is like it's like if you tell somebody something, anything, information, whatever, that one piece of information is stored in like a capsule, like a ball, and it goes through your ear, or like, it goes to your brain, and it goes into the brain's storage unit, and that one ball has that one piece of information that someone told you. And then the more people talk to you and tell you stuff, the more bits that are stored in balls, and then it's stored in your head. Like, that's the only way I can, it's the weirdest way, but that's the only way I can really understand what a qubit is, quantum bit, because I really don't know what it, like, what, you know what, you know what it is? I'm asking the wrong question. I asked what a qubit means. I should have asked what it is. What is a qubit? Physically. So, implementation methods. Different physical systems can be used to realize a bit, such as the spin of an electron, the energy levels of a trapped ion, or the polarization of a photon. So, so the spin of an electron, the levels of trapped ions, or the polarization of a photon can help you realize a qubit, or help you find a qubit, or measure a qubit. I don't know. I love computer science, but sometimes it just goes over my head.
But by the very nature of physics itself. As Chetan Nayak from Microsoft explained to me,
Needed something in which the quantum mechanical wave functions would have some underlying kind of rigidity that would protect them from errors, because they ordinarily are pretty delicate.
this is where Microsoft are taking a fundamentally different approach. Topology studies properties of spaces that are invariant or unchanging under any continuous deformation. Now, admittedly, that's kind of a bit of a mouthful, so let's think about it in terms of a simple example. If you take a rope and tie a knot into that rope, you can do many different things to that rope and the knot will stay essentially the same. You could move it, shake it, pull it up and down, bend it slightly. There is still fundamentally one knot in that rope. You'd have to do something reasonably dramatic like cutting it, which I'm not going to do because this is my shoelace, in order to actually destroy it. That is the idea behind topological quantum computing. It weaves quantum information into a global property that is fundamental to that system, and as a result, it becomes naturally immune to small errors.
So what we are doing is something fundamentally different. We are saying, hey, first step is get hardware protection built in at the ground level. And so if you take the quantum information and you distribute it, now that information is much more resilient to being displaced and destroyed, even if it sees events or noise from outside sources.
But to actually realize a topological quantum computer, we're going to need a new way of thinking about how we do computation. And we're going to need one of the strangest objects in quantum mechanics, the Majorana particle.
That's the same computer astronauts use to do their taxes.
The Majorana particle was proposed by Ettore Majorana, an Italian physicist working in quantum and nuclear physics at a time when the world was on the brink of world war. He was considered one of the greatest minds of his time, often compared to Einstein or Dirac, but he had a fascinating reluctance to publishing his work, considering his discoveries too trivial to be worth discussing. Majorana's Majorana, kind of confusing, was always proposed to be found in pairs. But unlike all other particles which have an antiparticle in existence, the electron with the positron, the proton with the antiproton, each with equal and opposite charge that annihilate each other when they touch, a Majorana particle would be its own antiparticle. Strangely, Majorana never expanded much on this work. That's because in March of 1938 he boarded a boat in Palmero, bound for Naples, carrying papers containing many such revolutionary ideas. But when the boat arrived in Naples, Majorana wasn't on it. He had simply disappeared, and was never seen of or heard from ever again. Potentially, he found his own antiparticle. For decades, physicists searched for Majorana particles in high-energy physics, particularly in neutrinos, hoping to prove that the ghostly particles were their own antiparticles. The breakthrough, however, never arrived for high-energy physics. Instead, it came from condensed matter. In 2012, researchers at Delft University showed that in a small nanowire created from a combination of semiconductor and superconducting layers, and exactly the right conditions, Majorana-like behaviors suddenly arose. And when I say suddenly arose, actually putting this thing together and getting it to operate is unbelievably complicated. It's taken Microsoft the last 17 years to get it right, and there are a lot of false starts along the way.
I often tell my team, this is not science. This is science and art. Because the whole idea here is, how do we build a crystal structure that is so perfect? Every single atom has to be placed perfectly where it needs to be.
Here's a quick screen grab of some of those results from a video by Domain of Science that I'll link in the description down below that shows the astonishing level of atomic accuracy within this material, with literally not a single atom out of place. But how does this proposed nanowire actually work? The wire is produced from a semiconductor material that contains mobile electrons, much like any other semiconductor. These electrons move freely and can be controlled by electric field gates to move electrons in and out of the wire. On top of this semiconductor nanowire, a thin layer of superconductor is deposited. By cooling the nanowire down to 50 millikelvin, necessary for quantum computation, the superconductor also enters a superconducting state, where electrons can move up and down its length with zero resistance, moderated by Cooper pairs, pairs of electrons that move freely within a superconductor. The strange part is that some of these Cooper pairs can tunnel into the semiconductor nanowire below, and allow the semiconductor to borrow some of the superconducting properties through a process called proximity effect. Then when a strong magnetic field is applied, the electronic states within the nanowire do something even stranger. They split into two separate quantum states that exist at either of the boundary ends of the nanowire, the two Majorana particles we have been searching for, each their own antiparticle. What this means is that the information about the electrons on these wires is now spread across the length of the wire. And as weird as this kind of sounds, you can think about it as each electron in the wire existing at both ends of the wire at the same time, or half an electron at this end and half an electron at the other. Microsoft are referring to this as a topoconductor and describing it as a new state of matter. I think this is broadly a fair statement. We know about solids, liquids, gases, but it's also worth knowing that there are about 20 total states of matter, like plasmas, Bose-Einstein condensates, superfluids. I think, though, this fairly earns its place as a new state of matter. But my question was, how do we actually make a quantum computer out of this?
I didn't even know there was
to build
that
a
many state of
qubit,
matter.
you always need two
Thought it was just
distinguishable
3 or 4.
states. You can use polarization direction of light or the spin of a trapped ion, but here we use the number of electrons on the nanowire. Across the wire, there will either be an even number, which we could call 0, or an odd number, which we could call 1. If the electrons were happily sitting on a normal wire, it would be very possible for a photon particle or other interaction to knock one of them off or to add another one, and so change the parity of this system. This ultimately would collapse the wave function and break any usefulness it had to us for computation. The Majorana zero modes, however, change this electron information and cause it to be distributed across the length of the wire so that it is no longer localized in individual electrons, but each electron's information is now spread across the wire's full length, concentrated at either end. This means that if some external noise disturbs one end of the system, it doesn't immediately destroy the quantum state, and this gives us the world's first topological quantum qubit.
You're back to your computational basics using a particle, a quasi-particle, that has never been captured before.
This makes Majorana-based qubits naturally resistant to small errors, unlike traditional superconducting or trapped ion qubits, which need extensive error correction to stay stable. And this really is what everyone is so excited about, and why Majorana zero modes are such a big deal. If we can use them to build qubits, we might not need those massive error correction overheads. Instead, the hardware itself would provide built-in fault tolerance, and for the first time we wouldn't need a football stadium of qubits to correct for those errors. Up until now, the quantum race has always been about quantity. How can we get more qubits in our system? Microsoft have been way behind in this race, but instead of focusing on quantity, they have put their efforts into quality. As a result, they are changing the rules of this game and creating a new quantum system that is inherently stable. So when they do start scaling, each qubit will count for a lot more.
So we not only demonstrated it, we captured it, we control it, and now we're able to do it repeatably, and we have built an array out of it.
As an output of all this work, Microsoft have built the Majorana 1. This is an 8-qubit chip, so a proof of concept chip, where they have detected, controlled, and read out from these Majorana qubits for the very first time.
It's going to be an inflection point for this industry. I mean, we are tremendously excited of what we are going to do with this thing.
Now, this might not sound huge in terms of number, but this architecture now makes it realistic to build a large number of stable qubits in a single place, all fabricated on a chip that you could actually hold in your hand. Yes, it will still need to sit into the normal quantum computing steampunk chandelier, but this is a potential huge step forwards. So the next step for Microsoft is to scale this chip from 8 qubits to 1,000,000 qubits, which yes, does kind of sound like a huge leap, but when I asked about how long it would take, I was kind of surprised by their answer.
You know, some people have said useful quantum computers are decades away. I think it's years.
Before now, we've talked about the possibility of functional quantum computers being optimistically a decade, if not more, away. So a few years seems like a huge announcement. Zulfi explained that the reason for this step change is that they are no longer in a fundamental science space, but now this is moving to be an engineering problem.
We are on to something big here. It essentially changes the timeline, because once it becomes more engineering and less reinventing the science, it becomes less, hey, I have these 5 miracles to cross before I can do this. There's no more miracle requirement. It's more about the appropriate engineering rigor, predictability, and setting out very clear goals in front of us.
So if reliably engineered quantum computers are only 3 years away, again, I'm being slightly optimistic here, it begs the question of will they finally be able to run Crisis on max settings? No, it begs the question of what are we actually going to do with them?
We want you to tell us the answer.
The answer to what?
From solving climate change to curing cancer, there are some lofty ambitions for where quantum computing could actually take us. But while these might be long-term goals, I don't often come across practical explanations of how or why quantum computers will actually be useful to us. So this is exactly what I posed to Nathan Baker, head of Microsoft Quantum Applications team.
The short answer is chemistry. I think the long answer is what are you going to do differently in chemistry? And I think that's the spirit of your question. What is quantum going to enable us to do? So chemistry is all about change, right? A chemical reaction is about making or breaking new bonds. And the way we think about how fast reactions occur, those bond making and breaking processes, is by looking at something called an energy landscape.
The ease or difficulty of getting chemicals to interact, bond, or destroy other materials is dependent on the energy requirement to make that change. You can think of this almost like a hill or a barrier that a chemical needs to overcome in order to do its job. The higher the hill, the harder the task, but also the slower the rate of this process.
Energy barriers, the height of those hills, are super sensitive to the accuracy of the calculation. And, quantum mechanics is hard. It's not just hard for people, it's hard for classical computers.
Today we do the best job that we can with classical computers, but with big systems, classical computers just can't keep up. We have to make approximations and it impacts our accuracy.
Yeah, conventional wisdom, and this is conventional wisdom backed by a lot of studies, says that when a molecule has about 23, 24 orbitals in it. Again, that's where these electrons can be around the molecule. The system gets really hard for a classical computer. Too hard for a classical computer to solve it. And honestly, you can hit that number of orbitals for very, very small systems. One of the simplest chemical reactions received a Nobel Prize a few decades ago is the interaction of ozone with chlorine in the environment. You can model that very simply, fit it onto a classical computer, but if you want to model the full complexity of that system, you're already in a space where you have to make approximations on the classical computer, but the quantum computer can start to solve it very naturally.
The reality is that right now, when we try and model some of these chemical reactions, we can be thousands of fold off in our accuracy, which means there's a lot of guess and check involved in predicting new and useful chemicals and catalysts.
Imagine if you're trying to understand what happens to a chemical in the environment. Well, when it gets in the environment, it starts reacting with oxygen, ozone, other things in the environment, and the speed of that reaction is determined by those energy barriers. A small error in that energy barrier is the difference between a chemical that goes away immediately and a forever chemical.
But with a quantum computer, that changes. Quantum computers will allow us to predict and model chemicals at the quantum scale, determining exactly how their electrons are interacting and the energy requirements necessary to make them catalyze or react. If we can move our approximations into a quantum computer, it may give us the ability to be first time right with the computations that we're doing, discovering chemicals that definitively work. Potentially, and that's a big potentially, we are on the cusp of a new quantum age. Now is the time to really start thinking about the questions that we want to ask of this new quantum universe. But before we get too carried away, let's talk about the controversy.
Must have been hard debugging all those computers, Homer?
Absolutely.
In all new breakthroughs, there is always some controversy, deserved or not, and I want to touch briefly on this just to tell the complete story here. As exciting as this sounds, not everyone is convinced, and that skepticism isn't just a knee-jerk reaction, it is built into the history of quantum computing. Microsoft itself published a high-profile paper back in 2018 to have claimed to have observed Majorana zero modes in their system, but in 2021, independent researchers found flaws in their data analysis and the paper was retracted. It was a major setback, but Microsoft isn't alone. Across the industry, we've seen big leaps forward followed by unexpected complications. This time, Microsoft says they've addressed past issues and have new evidence of the Majorana zero mode forming in their Majorana 1 chip. Their new paper claims to have overcome these previous misinterpretations, presenting what they describe as the clearest path yet to scalable quantum computers. But some physicists aren't convinced. The concern is the disconnect between the scientific article and the public claims that have been made. The most obvious one that has the physics community kind of riled up is that the Nature paper just released doesn't actually provide empirical evidence of a topological qubit. The editors even took the rare step of highlighting this at the top of the paper. And this omission has just been a point of discussion, as measurements like coherence times are essential for assessing the practical viability of qubits in computational tasks. In a comment from Chaitin on Scott Arson's blog, he explains that Microsoft's Nature paper was submitted about a year ago in March of 2024 and only published this month, and that Microsoft have made significant progress in that intervening year, the results of which he discussed at a recent conference, and that this time do show parity measurement and qubit function. This work was also presented at Station Q prior to the announcement, and there are talks scheduled for the upcoming APS meeting. Now, taking a step back with my I run a venture capital fund hat on that invests specifically in these sorts of breakthroughs, a red flag does ping in my mind around the loudness of the release versus the timings with the Nature paper that don't quite validate this announcement. But also, that paper releases are very slow activities, and they won't always necessarily align with the news that you want to report as a venture. That skepticism is healthy, that's science, but so is that excitement if Microsoft are correct, that they have found a way to make qubits that are exponentially more robust than anything we've ever seen before. If that is right, that is one of the most exciting breakthroughs that we've had not just in science, but in the history of humanity. And to me, science is humanity's defining characteristic. We like to think of ourselves as unique, the pinnacle of intelligence, the only creatures to wield tools to create art, to communicate with language, to build societies. But we have seen chimpanzees fashion spears, and crows craft hooks to fish for prey. We've even seen buffalo vote on which direction to travel, and dolphins call each other by name. and yet there remains one singular act of defiance of our universe that is ours alone. No other being devises instruments to understand reality, to see the unseeable and touch the untouchable. We are defined by our willingness to challenge the universe's limits, to look at the deep chaotic complexity of the cosmos and whisper, that seems impossible. I bet we could do it. To me, that is always worth celebrating. If you liked this video, leave a like or a comment down below. For members of the channel, I'll be releasing the full interviews I did with Zulfi, Chaitan, and Nathan, which are all super interesting. Thank you so much to Microsoft for giving me access and opportunity to tell this amazing story. If you like science and tech breakthroughs, follow for more. Until then, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Right. Okay, so, I still don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. I was trying my hardest to try to I understand to an extent, but that extent is like very short. So apparently, well, number one, there's more states of matter than I thought. Number two, it is confirmed a new state of matter that they had to create in order for Majorana to work, I guess, the Mariana particle to work. So, and I think Microsoft, as of right now, doesn't really know exactly what this is for. Like they know what it can be used for, or the possibilities of what it can be used for, but until they do some trial and error, they don't know for sure either. So, but you know, this is huge in the science community, so I wanted to check it out, see for myself what it is. All right, so we got one more video. This one is a bit longer. This one's about 35. Oh, it's exactly 35 minutes 35 seconds. World's newest overwater villa in Saudi Arabia. A channel by the name of Kara and Nate. I believe they traveled to Saudi Arabia to be in this newest villa that they created, and it's created over water. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I be looking at like other countries and the things that they build over there that looks breathtaking, and one there would say divine. It's like, why doesn't America have any? America doesn't have a lot of like landmarks and sites that's so like oddly innovative in a way. I think the only all right, don't get me wrong, America got a lot of cool stuff that you can look at, a lot of great sites, a lot of great landmarks, right? Famous landmarks even. But if you look at what America looks like from a aesthetic standpoint versus if you were to go to places like Russia with the Kremlin or the Taj Mahal, or if you were to go to anywhere in Europe and they have like these interesting architecture, it's like why don't we have buildings that are fun in design? Like we have a few that's really fun in design. Like obviously New York, we got some really cool design, really breathtaking skyscrapers in New York. From there all the way to fun designs like in the West Coast, like especially in California, we got some cool buildings over there. Here in Georgia, we got some cool things, but it's like we don't really have anything like fun in that way that it's like, I can't believe this is real kind of situation. But anyway, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the world's newest overwater villa. Let's take a look at this. And you know, let's see what Saudi Arabia got to offer here.
The world's newest overwater villas just opened in Saudi Arabia. This resort looks like nothing that we have ever seen before, and it's so futuristic that it almost looks fake. If you went on ChatGPT and asked it to make a futuristic version of overwater villas that look like spaceships, you would get something very similar to the images that you see on their website. And if you go online and look for reviews, it doesn't show up on TripAdvisor or any of the other travel websites. So we figured somebody needs to do the hard work of going and checking out these overwater villas.
You're actually real.
To see if they live up to the photos that we're seeing here on the internet. So we're gonna take one for the team and go check them out. But all jokes aside, I am even more fascinated by this place because of a recent video that our friend Johnny Harris made. It explains how Saudi Arabia is literally spending trillions of dollars to build futuristic infrastructure to attract more people to the country as a way to diversify away from oil. If you've heard anything about this, the one project that you probably know about and the one that Johnny focused on in his video is called The Line, and it's supposed to be a 100-mile city in the middle of the desert. But that project is just part of this bigger thing that Saudi Arabia is calling Vision 2030. The Red Sea project is another part of this trillion.
Okay. What the hell are they building? And second of all, I've heard of The Line. I've heard of that project, The Line, of them making 100 million miles, whatever, however long this thing is, in the middle of the desert, but civilization is at the top of this line. So I've recently heard about it, like probably like a few months ago, but, or maybe last month, I don't know. But I need to get into the oil business because they got $1 trillion to do this stuff. And since it's called Saudi Vision 2030, I'm assuming by 2030, this kind of infrastructure should be finished. But we in 2025, that's 5 years from now. They're going to have 100 miles of, or however long it is, done in 5 years with civilization up top.
Dollars worth of spending. They're planning on building 50 hotels with over 8,000 rooms on this group of islands, and the resort that we're going to stay at is one of the first ones finished. But I think what makes this all feel even more crazy is that 9 years ago, in 2016, when we first started traveling, a tourist visa to go to Saudi Arabia wasn't a thing. It was a closed country. They didn't want tourists, and now they've pretty much done a complete 180. So this has a chance to be one of the most interesting trips that we've ever taken. So yesterday we flew to our 110th country of Saudi Arabia, and this morning we have a 5-hour car ride from Jeddah to the resort. So we're just hanging out on the beach, waiting to get on the boat. And I have so many questions about what we're going to experience. Because if you look at the resort's Instagram, it's actually hard to tell if the photos are even real. Like, they look like they've been created by AI. Either that or it's so futuristic that it looks fake. We've been lucky enough to stay at some of the best overwater villas in the entire world, like Sineva Yani in the Maldives, the Presidential Villa at the Conrad in Bora Bora. But both of those places are known as vacation destinations. Like, you kind of show up knowing what you're gonna get. But I am so curious what the resort experience is going to be like here in Saudi Arabia, in a country that's so conservative. Is Kara going to be able to wear a bathing suit in the public areas? I'm guessing there won't be any alcohol considering it's illegal in this country. What's the food going to be like? You know, these other resorts, once you get there, they feel very Western, for better or for worse. Like, there's just a certain standard. We're pretty much going into this completely blind.
You ready, guys?
We're ready.
The boat is ready too.
It's the big one on the right?
You deserve it. It's gonna be Bombay, but it's gonna be experience.
Okay.
I could not believe we were finally about to arrive at this mysterious resort. The suspense was killing me. On the boat right there, we saw a crazy amount of construction, and you can definitely tell something big is happening here. This group of islands is going to look very different in a few years. They're real. We're here. They're actually real.
If they're was an ocean on Mars, these are the overwater villas that you would build. This is so crazy.
I'm in shock. I don't know what I was expecting, but I am in shock.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nice to meet you guys. Mr. Nathan?
Yes, nice to meet you. I saw a photo on Instagram, and you know, like a lot of people like create these AI generated images now, and I thought it was fake at first.
Now that you're here, you'll discover it for yourself, and then you can answer your own question. How's that?
I've answered the question. This is amazing.
So, yeah. Not only is this place actually real, but our first impressions were 10 out of 10. They met us at the dock and swept us off our feet. And they took us on a full private tour of the entire resort, which we'll obviously show you later. Just a little reminder that these people have no idea who we are, that we have a YouTube channel, or anything. We just booked this place and showed up like any other traveler. And so far it's going pretty well. We'll see how the rest of the trip goes. But for now, it is finally time to go into our villa. Wow.
Bed test.
Oh. Oh. Wow.
This is crazy. Killer shots.
Good morning. After 2 very long days of travel, we both crashed as soon as we got here, but we did eventually pull ourselves out of this super comfy bed in time to explore the rest of the resort before it got dark. We watched an amazing sunset. You know those sunsets that have the perfect amount of clouds? That's what we got last night. And then we tried the first of 5 restaurants that they have here. We went to the Italian restaurant. Every course was amazing. It's run by Michelin star chefs, so that was expected, but it definitely lived up to the expectations. Some of the meals, Kara would have even considered dance-worthy, but by far, the highlight of dinner was Gus. He was the restaurant manager. He came up to us and he was like, I recognize you guys. And that happens occasionally from YouTube, so we didn't think too much about it. But he was like, no, like we've met before. Turns out 8 years ago, he was working at the Victoria Falls Safari Lodge in Zimbabwe, and he's in our video.
We met at the lodge
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Crazy.
Years ago.
We all couldn't believe it. It was such a small world moment. Anyway, this place is absolutely insane. Any fears we had of this place not living up to other resorts that we'd stayed at are completely gone, and we cannot wait to show you around.
As soon as we're done caffeinating.
So before we start this tour, I wanted to share a few fun facts that I've already learned about the resort. First, they started building it back in 2017, so it took 7 years to build. And these orbs, those were completely constructed in Dubai and then put on a ship and sent over to be installed here. And last but not least, this whole place is powered by a huge solar farm, which I find pretty cool considering Saudi Arabia is the 2nd largest oil producing country in the entire world. And I did not know until today that the US is actually holding position #1. Never would have guessed that.
This resort is shaped like a giant oval. So we're gonna start here on one end and make our way all the way around, ending in our villa on the other side. We are currently standing on the main public beach. Look at the color of this water. In my opinion, it could not be a more perfect day.
Bro,
but a lot
that's what I'm saying. Like, we have the largest oil in the world. Like, we have more oil than anybody in the world, right? This is oil money that they use to build this resort. Why don't we have that? The greatest country in the world, and we don't got no resort that looks nothing like this. We just got the regular. That don't make no sense, bro. Come on.
A lot of the staff are still wearing their hoodies and puffy vests because apparently 75 and sunny is a cold day in Saudi Arabia. Right behind the beach is the public pool. It's an infinity pool with tons of chairs and they're all empty. We have seen like 2 other guests since we've been here, but I love how private it feels. Not as flexible as I
It
used
must
to
be
be.
very
Also at dinner
expensive.
last night, we were the only ones at the restaurant. Regardless, I'm happy we're some of the first to be here, and it is so fun to feel like we have the whole place to ourselves.
Also, there is life, but that's a lifeguard and not another guest.
Yeah. Welcome to the pool bar. One of our big questions was answered yesterday. I was shocked to see this huge, beautiful bar right here on the beach serving wine, champagne, beer, cocktails, liquors. I just thought maybe Saudi Arabia just doesn't count resorts on the Red Sea and you could drink alcohol here. But turns out they're all alcohol free, but it looks the part.
Non-alcoholic champagne, non-alcoholic wine, non-alcoholic beers,
My
more of it
kinda
behind the
scene.
bar.
And once again,
I don't drink alcohol, so, but if I ever go to this resort, I'll be cool. I'll be cool.
no one's here. We are the only one.
What is the most popular drink you serve?
Our creativity drinks from the Saria lemon mint, 24 hours infused the tea.
And do people order the non-alcoholic beers and wines?
Most of the Saudi people like to drink that non-alcoholic soft drinks and wine.
One of my favorite things I've discovered at this resort is they have free, unlimited sunscreen for face and body, SPF 30 and 50 at all the pools. So you don't have to ever hold back. Oh wow, that's thick. Oh wow. Oh, thank you so much. Our new friend just made me a matcha latte. Look how beautiful.
I've never tried matcha before.
That is amazing.
Thank you so much.
What did you put in here?
That creativity.
Love
That's the secret ingredient.
Shibara love. Which flavor you get?
Ooh.
Like kind of nutty, like hazelnut.
What's the secret?
It's a secret.
That's secret.
Okay, Rizla. Thank you, sir.
Right next to the pool is the breakfast restaurant, which we will be trying out tomorrow. Kara from the future here. Very happy this morning. Apparently, breakfast is included. They have a huge a la carte menu. You can order whatever you want. There's also a buffet inside that we haven't even touched yet because we ordered so many things. We have cheesy bread with za'atar, a Middle Eastern staple. Poached eggs with caviar, because why not? Grilled halloumi, one of my all-time favorite foods. And of course, with Nate's sweet tooth, he got ricotta lemon pancakes. And just look at where we are right now.
Back behind the breakfast restaurant is the dive center.
Galaxia.
The Red Sea is one of the best places in the world to dive. We were lucky enough to do it a few years ago in Jordan. Specifically remember seeing our first octopus ever, and then they sunk a plane and a tank. That was super cool to scuba dive around. Unfortunately, we're not gonna have time to do any diving on this trip, but they do rent free snorkel gear, which we'll come back and grab later to explore the reef that sits right in front of our villa.
This bridge connects us to the main island. And once again, please look at the color of this water. It looks like blue Gatorade. Saudi Arabia.
I don't really feel like we've gotten to experience the true Saudi Arabia. We'll definitely need to come back and do that, but this has been pretty incredible. But at the same time, I don't want this to come off as like us promoting this country or like necessarily encouraging you to come here. Every country has its flaws. Saudi Arabia has some big ones. We paid for this experience, like it's not sponsored in any way. I just genuinely find this fascinating. Like what's happening with Vision 2030 in Saudi Arabia is the biggest tourism infrastructure going on in the entire world. That's what we do. Like that's our entire life is travel. So I'm just completely fascinated by all of this. But once again, not necessarily encouraging you to come here. Make your own decisions. We're just out here looking for interesting stories.
So we've been walking around all morning and we love walking. It's no big deal, but this resort is massive. And they do have staff driving golf carts all over the place. And anytime they see someone walking, they come and fetch you and they take you to where you're going. Or you can just message someone and they'll come pick you up. We've heard they have future plans to ship in bikes for all of the villas. The bikes at Saneva Yani were so much fun. And it really would change everything to have a bike here. Kara and Nate. There we are.
I'll subscribe to your channel.
Yay!
Thank you for the ride. So over here, they have a few paddle courts, and then around the courts, they have a running track, which just looks like concrete, but is padded and feels so good on the knees. Might have to go for a run.
I never want to run.
Oh.
I'm gonna say it. This is the best gym we've ever seen. At the entrance, there is an infinity pool. First, you're greeted with drinks and snacks. You have every piece of equipment you could ever need, but the cherry on top is over here.
We have never seen this before at any other gym we've ever been to. It's a whole Therabody bar with
Top of the line guns. They make these in all different sizes, and these are the good ones.
And I've never used a vibrating foam roller. I don't even know how to use this. You're the marathoner. Spa. Is that funny?
No, not to anyone else. To me, it was.
We spend way too much time together and have way too many inside jokes, and you know that part of Toy Story where they're like, for some reason every time we see a spa we just go,
The spa. The spa definitely wins best entryway. Check out
That's the entrance.
how I sound in this dome. The acoustics in here are nuts.
she's gonna sing Adele.
Hello.
Did you hear me?
I was wondering if I could get a massage here, even though it's pricey. So this is the spa. We got a little sneak peek
acoustics is
yesterday, and
crazy.
I'm definitely coming back here for a massage. Hello? Ready for lunch?
Stuck in the desert.
Help! I guess we'll walk until someone drives by and we'll hop on their golf cart. This area is very empty right now, but I'll give you 3 seconds to guess what it's going to be.
A golf course.
They're building a golf course. And once you know that, it looks just
Oh!
like a golf course. But right now, it just looks like a big sand dune. Help.
I'm that good.
Someone's getting hangry.
Whoa, that went in my back. Kara from the cold here. Sure am missing that Saudi sunshine right about now. Just real quick, as some of you already know, Nate and I
Sad.
just entered our 10th year of full-time travel, which means majority of the time since 2016, we've had very little control over what foods we put in our bodies, and the only
I feel like this is an ad. Yep, it is. I caught it on time, didn't I?
now made our way to the opposite end of the oval from where we started, and this is where the overwater villas begin. This view is insane. From where I'm standing, there are 35 overwater villas pretty much in a straight line parallel with the beach. They just look like a bunch of spaceships floating in the middle of the water. One thing that we've noticed after being here for almost 24 hours now is how much they change throughout the day. It sounds kind of funny, but the first half of the day, you're getting this beautiful reflection of the water on the bottom and the sky on the top. But as the sun's going down, they become super colorful. And then at night, it reflects the lights on the walkway, which puts this like line around the outside of them all. And then they really look like spaceships. It's been really cool.
How are you?
Hi, good, how are you?
Welcome to Solera.
Thank you.
Bro, how much is it to book? I don't even know where they at. Let me see. Because it's hella empty. Like, if it's that empty, this has to be super expensive. Let me see. Water Villa. It's luxury, so it has to be like super expensive. This website is buggy. You know what? Price. There it is. Jesus. Oh my God. The water villas in Saudi Arabia can cost between roughly $1,700 and $4,700 per night, depending on the size and type of villa. Okay. So Oh, the Shibera Resort, which is where they're at. The overwater villas start at $2,400 per night. Starting price. $2,400 per night. So let's do the math. That's not even including like the flight to get there and all that stuff. That's just to say there. $2,400 a night times 7. If I wanted to spend a week there, that is $16.8K. $16,800 if I wanted to stay a week there. If I wanted to stay 2 weeks there, 33 grand. Over 33 grand. We're not even going to talk about a month because, first of all, I ain't staying nowhere no more than 2 weeks. That's crazy. That is insane. But you know what? It makes sense because this place looks amazing. And of course it's empty because who got that kind of money? I guess if you're a traveler, then yeah, you could.
You enjoy? Where is everybody? VIP only.
That's our own private
Yes,
pool.
only for you.
So this is public pool number 2. Once again, we're the only ones here.
The music is bumping. This is the exact place we watched the sunset from last night. This is one of the better infinity pools I've ever seen. It is so hard to tell visually where the pool water ends and the Red Sea water starts.
And finally, this is where we're eating lunch. Oh my gosh, lemon.
Is the Red Sea like, isn't that the most saltiest like sea? Or is it the Mediterranean? I think it's the Red Sea though.
Yes, what's out?
This towel is ice cold and smells like a lemongrass candle, and I'm so happy to be here. Look at the view from this restaurant. So, shocker, we're the only ones at lunch. This is basically the restaurant at the pool on this side of the island. The menu was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be for like a pool restaurant. It was hard to decide what to get, so we've started with a few small plates. We have spicy garlic broccoli, probably the prettiest mushroom gyoza I've ever seen. There are flowers on top and they're seared.
I thought those
Cannot
were
wait to eat
dumplings.
those. And we got some fish and chips. Do you think I eat the flour?
Yeah. If it's as good as it looks, that's saying something.
Even better than it looks. 11.5 out of 10.
11.5.
The broccoli is just very broccoli-y. I like to be honest whenever I don't have an 11 out of 10 answer because most people think I'm lying, and I'm really not. Last but not least, we have fried cod in a lemon tartar sauce. So good. By far the star of the show, though, is the gyoza. Right next to where we just ate is the Japanese restaurant. It's only open for dinner, and we have reservations to eat here later tonight. Moving on. As we make the long walk to our villa down this bridge, you may notice that some of the flying saucers look really shiny and clean, and other ones are a bit dirty and have like a sandy film on top. One of the coolest things we learned yesterday is that they clean these things with drones. It's been a bit windy since we've gotten here, so they haven't been using the drones, but fingers crossed we get to see that in action because I think that is so crazy.
Unfortunately, the wind never died down during our stay, so they weren't able to get the drones up and just had to clean them the old-fashioned way. Also stretching out from each side of the oval are the beach villas, which also look super futuristic. It's like the UFO came in for a soft landing on the beach instead of just deciding to hover above the water. And I think the insides are pretty similar as well, unless you get one of the really big ones to hold like a massive family.
One last stop before we get to our villa. We are calling this one the Mothership. It is by far the largest orb. It's kind of like reception. This is where our boat came in yesterday. And then over here is the Italian restaurant where we ate last night. I have seen all 3 seasons of The Bear, so I was very excited when I heard that the chef has a Michelin star. Is that how it works? Do you have a Michelin star? And the chef is a girl. The centerpiece of the Mothership is an olive tree that is over 1,000 years old. It's kind of fun.
Wow.
It's like this ancient thing in the middle of this super futuristic thing.
Whoa, is that Kara appreciating art?
And finally, welcome to our villa. I think this could be the reason why we haven't seen very many guests at the resort, because every single villa has its own private infinity pool. On one side, there's a big comfy outdoor bed, and on the other side, there's a table hangout area. Simple and elegant. Now follow me inside. The other overwater villas that we've gotten to stay in have had a totally different vibe than this one. Usually they're like beachy and wooden and natural. This one is modern, sleek. It feels more like a modern luxury hotel room floating on the ocean. There are hardly any 90-degree angles in this whole place. I think it's obvious, but this is the main living area. Gigantic. When we first checked in, they had left us dates and chocolates and fruit. Huge, beautiful couch. And this thing, I think this is the grand finale that I'm gonna save for the end. But until then, try to guess what you think is in there. And through this door, we have our own kitchen. First and foremost, this is where Nate made our coffee this morning. I love the dishes and the appliances. Everything is just quality. Oops. The most unique thing about this room is definitely this door. It leads to the outside, but they call it the butler door. Say I'm in bed in the morning and I really want breakfast delivered to the room, but I don't feel like going to the breakfast restaurant. I can just text the butler and say, hey, please bring breakfast to my villa. Close this door. The butler can come in the butler door, set down the food, and never come inside. This is what I'm calling the guest bedroom. All of the villas pretty much look the same from the outside, but if you look closely, some are bigger than the others, and that's because some are 2-bedroom and some are 1. We booked a 2-bedroom, and this has become our stuff room. So don't look too closely. We've just let our bags explode all over the floor in here, but I like feeling like we're using the whole villa. The bathrooms in this villa are insane. Starting with the shower. It is massive. It's a rainfall shower. What do you call this? Waterfall shower.
Also, once again, no straight lines, so these lights that you're seeing are just reflecting off of the mirror. It looks so trippy from the outside.
This has to be the biggest shower head I've ever seen, and there are options with the style of waterfall that you want to come out. First of all, you have the, gosh, that came up faster than I was going to. This is the steam waterfall. So if you close this door and turn it up really hot, you're basically in a steam room. This is what I would call your typical waterfall style. And then this is the one that I really liked. Boom. That's like, oh, getting me wet. It's like a real waterfall. Our bathroom is similar, but way better, so I'll save the rest of it and show you a bit. The other side of the living room is the primary bedroom. We have a little seating area up here, the world's best king bed, and check out these closets. They are massive, and the whole inside is a mirror. Plus, we've got really good robes, and I must say, the best hotel slippers we've ever had. Like, these are like actual soft, fluffy slippers. Usually they're just kind of like paper, you know, one-time use. They also provided what I think is a yoga mat. How cute! And in this drawer, how cute are these sandals? They don't fit me, but I love that they provided them. Plus, a beach tote.
Wow, best bag ever. I cannot believe how cute that is. Does she get to keep it? We don't know, but she will try to squeeze it in her suitcase if she can.
Another huge TV, another closet. Oh, just couldn't help but do that again.
I still cannot get over how comfortable this bed is. Like, I know people make fun of Kara for saying that everything is the best everything. So I just want to emphasize that this truly is the best bed we've ever slept in. Like, I want to look at the brand of mattress, the sheets, the comforter, the pillows, everything, and then recreate this in our house one day because it just feels like you're sleeping in a big, warm hug. Like, look, Kara's pretty much disappeared into the bed. And then over here beside the bed, you have your controls for pretty much everything in the room. You can turn on and off the lights, change the temperature, and when you wake up in the morning, with a push of a button, the curtains open, and you wake up to this beautiful view.
Like I said, our bathroom is bigger and better. Both bathrooms have this gigantic, beautiful tub. I think I'm gonna have to take a bath because the soaps and lotions and everything are great, but they've provided this rock that looks like something they just picked up out of the ocean, but they said you scrub your body with it and it exfoliates. So I think I have to do that. And bath salts. I love this unique vanity area. We have our 2 different sinks, and just check out the lighting in here. Oh, speaking of lights, this is only one of 2 windows in this whole villa. Like, obviously the whole front of the villa is one big window, but when I was looking online, I didn't know if the rest of the villa back here would feel dark with just fake lights, but I didn't know they had skylights, so that really helps. It doesn't feel like that at all. Our shower is pretty much the same, a bit bigger. We have a bench, But there's also one feature that I forgot to show you in the first one, and that is you can control the lights and have a dance party while you're in the shower.
All right, now let me show you my favorite part of the bathroom. We have a luxury Japanese style toilet. You walk up to it, you put your foot underneath, and it should, and it didn't. There we go. It greets you by opening up the lid, and then if you're a guy, you just press this button right here. Boom. Don't even have to touch the toilet seat. Go to put it back down for the ladies. Press the button. Goes back down. Full bidet, it's got all the controls. One of the best toilets we've ever had.
You didn't even say the best part. When you're done, I kid you not, you stand up and you just walk out. It flushes, the lid closes, you don't do anything. Ooh. I don't know why I wanted to do that. And
Everybody
now,
as a kid has done
for
that at
the
least
grand finale, I know you've been dying to know. What is this thing?
I want to try to guess it. I want to say this is like a wine bar or like a winery cooler, something you put wines and alcohol and all that stuff. That's my guess. See what it is.
Your last chance to guess. Do you want to know what's behind these doors? What do they say on the game show host or the game shows?
Move that bus.
Open those doors. Which button is it? Ta-da!
The world's most futuristic minibar. That was so satisfying.
right.
Also, the best part is all of this is free. These look like they would cost $12 to open, but they're included.
It feels so wrong to just...
Whoa, you broke the seal.
That's what I'm saying. It feels wrong. It feels like this should not be included because it never is. But I asked twice because I was so concerned that we were gonna get a $30 bill for eating a couple almonds.
I hope we understood them correctly. Is that? No, I think...
No!
And then down below, this is your mini fridge with more non-alcoholic options. This is sparkling rosé, non-alcoholic beer, all the soft drinks. And then I'm really excited to open one of these. These are like non-alcoholic cocktail mixers. Lots of fun things to try here.
Another reason it feels so weird is because this is not an all-inclusive resort. As soon as you leave your room, you pay for everything. Except for the matcha that my friend made me, the welcome bubbly rosé that our friend Lou gave us. Like, they're very generous, and that does it for the tour.
Wow.
Walking on this net with these flippers is so hard. Ooh!
Oh no.
A little chilly. Check out how cool the orb looks from underneath though. Wow, this is cool. As expected, they look even cooler from the water.
That is our room.
Probably won't surprise you to know that we're the only ones in the water.
Stingray. Oh my god, that would terrify me. Underwater is so beautiful.
Yeah, could you take us to the Japanese restaurant? Getting a ride to dinner. Been a big day.
Hungry.
I ate too many snacks from the mini bar since they were free. I'm still not 100% convinced that the mini bar is free.
Are you serious?
We'll see. It seems too good to be true.
I was just opening jars to open them.
Door-to-door service.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you. Cheers.
We're starting with a traditional Japanese drink.
Wow. I feel like not having alcohol forces them to level up the flavors in every drink we've had.
One thing I've loved is that both of the nice restaurants we've eaten at for dinner have included a welcome drink and a really fancy amuse-bouche. I think she said this one was some kind of tofu topped with plum sauce. That's very interesting. It's not at all what I was expecting. Whatever the leaf it was planted on is very potent.
Maybe you weren't supposed to eat that.
Maybe. I'm loving where our table is. Getting to watch the chefs in the kitchen do their thing is really enhancing my dinner experience. Our starters have just arrived. We ordered 3. We have spicy edamame, miso glazed eggplant, and the prettiest seaweed salad I've ever seen. So good. Very curious about this miso glazed eggplant. Fantastic. For our mains, we each got a different type of udon noodles. Nate's came with the fancy pour over, but mine look so good. I love it here. I would consider myself a fried noodles connoisseur. These have so much personality. They're so dynamic. I know this sounds dramatic, but there's nothing worse than bad noodles. Nate's gonna give you his unbiased review. How many hat comments are we gonna get because of this scene?
It just warms my soul. Nothing ruins my day like bad food, and nothing makes it like great food.
Matcha coconut strawberry.
Thank you.
It's my farewell. In our behalf, this is our farewell to you guys. By the way, this is stuff on our menu.
Ooh.
Yes. I just made that recipe, so I want you to try it.
Cheers.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. That is so good.
The weird thing is they had to go back and get the camera.
Get old in this bed.
We really had no idea what to expect coming into this trip. And I can honestly say, it lives up to the hype.
It's obviously new. They're still working out the kinks. Like, we woke up this morning and our infinity pool was no longer infinity. But they took care of that really quick.
There's something really special and almost like cute and charming about being at a place like this in such an early stage.
I kind of feel like we're like part of the team figuring this out.
So many of the staff were asking us, like, how's your stay? How's it going? And they really meant it. Like, I think they really wanted to know, like, how is it going? Because they just haven't had that many people yet.
We've traveled enough where I feel like we have a pretty good radar of when people are being nice because it's their job and when people are actually just like genuinely excited, and it feels like everyone here is just genuinely excited to be here, to be having guests, to see how that experience is going. A little bit to a fault, if I'm being honest. It will be so interesting to see if in 15 years people think about coming to the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia just like they think about going to the Maldives.
Yeah.
Because that is the thing that's really interesting about the Maldives. The Maldives is also a conservative Islamic country. They just made rules to where once you get on these private islands that are owned by the resorts, it's very Western and like anything goes. But if you go to a local island, you can't be on your bathing suit in the beach. You can't drink alcohol. This could easily become that.
And I'm just so happy we got to be here before it's that.
Like, we were talking to our server tonight at dinner and she was saying, come back. I think we'll have alcohol next time. Apparently that's being talked about. And like, I have mixed feelings about that. Like, it really kind of feels like a big sacrifice of culture to like do that to attract more Western guests. But at the same time, that kind of feels like the goal of all of this, so.
The accommodation is out of this world. The food is to die for. This staff is incredible. The views, I don't know how it gets any better.
It feels like the Maldives. You go to the Maldives and it's sand and blue water. And here you have sand and blue water. And you have the Red Sea and probably like better diving and coral.
Did I mention how good the food is?
Also, I think one thing that we forgot to mention specifically is that there is no dress code here. So like, if Kara would have wanted to be in her bathing suit all day today, she could have. I think there's still a little bit of a feeling of like, maybe she shouldn't. I find it all super fascinating. Hopefully you found it interesting, and we will see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching.
In somewhere that looks very different than here.
Where?
I think we're gonna be in the cold.
We are.
Back to the cold.
But I like the warm. That bird is just flying in one place. Hey. You taking us to the boat? I just didn't want to get on a random golf cart that wasn't going to the boat. How dangerous this is. It's like metal shavings. Our gun is not this.
That was just blueprints, not blueprints, bloopers. Insane. Insane. Very pricey of a trip, but I mean, like they say, it's still the early stages, but that's incredible how this is it'd be kind of cool if they just kept the alcohol out. I feel like that's in a way where it gets its uniqueness from, aside from the crazy futuristic unique design of the entire resort, but it just adds character because everywhere you go, well, not everywhere you go, but in the United States, I know that alcohol is everywhere in the United States. And alcohol is in other countries too, Greece, anywhere in Rome. So I say Rome, anywhere in Europe, alcohol's everywhere. So it's like it's very. I don't know. I don't think it's very rare. It's probably rare to go to a resort where there's no alcohol allowed, but they make up for it by really enhancing the flavor of the drinks, as I believe what's her name, Kara says, to make it just as enjoyable. Might not get tipsy at all, but they have alternatives, so you still get like the alcohol experience in a way. Although that you won't necessarily get tipsy or drunk, but I think it gives it character. I hope they keep like the non-alcoholic rule, in there. But most likely to get more Western people to join, um, or to go to the resort, they probably will lift that and add alcohol. But anyway, even if they do add alcohol, the place would still be amazing. It would be an amazing experience to do. So I have to put that on my bucket list. One day I want to travel and go here myself. Hopefully it'd be at a time where it's not too crowded. You know what I mean? I don't like large crowds. But anyway, that is the two videos I wanted to watch. And now let's head on into Logic. And we are in a brand new project. We are starting from scratch. Are we making a song? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Let's just test. Yep, we're good. I don't have any ideas to start a song at the moment because we just literally made 3 songs in 2 weeks. So, uh, you know, that's how it is, man. Sometimes you just gotta go in blind. So I did think of one idea, not in terms of a fully realized idea of a drop idea or an intro, but one thing I haven't made in a while. We did make a somewhat funky kind of house cut, but just a whole funk track altogether. Ones that have drums that goes like something like that kind of drum pattern. So, what BPM would that be? Sounds like a 120. 120 BPM maybe? Ooh, that's too fast. Maybe like 100. That's still kind of fast. Let's do 95. What's 95 times 2? 190 BPM. Okay, never mind. 95 seems to be fine. Okay. I'll probably use this snare. I'll change it if I need to, but we'll just start with this. Okay. This is the pattern we're working with. Alrighty, let's do, yeah. That might be a problem with the sine chain. There we go. That will solve it. Okay. So, since we got our drums down somewhat, let's think of a bass line. Let's see. We've used E too many times. Let's try a different note. That one. I gotta go a higher note because I can't sometimes doing melody in the sub, it's hard. Like the sub is so low that sometimes I can tell that it's the right note in the scale, but sometimes it's like kind of hard to tell by just by just um by a quarter note. It feels kind of off. If I go higher, I can hear what the bass line was sounding. So that would be so that's it. So that's the thing. All right, we're gonna go ahead and just write it in. Wait, that was the wrong key. Oops. Oof. that's what I'm gonna do. I need the metronome because that. Yeah, we'll just do that. I'm gonna play it in a higher note because it's a better hand position for me. Yay, we did it. Duh. We might have to do some manual work here. Nah. It should be right here. Oh, I was like, why is it sound? But there we go. Da. Da, 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 da. It's like a little flick. Okay. Okay. Now, I know it sounds rough, but we're going to basically create a bass that's going to play it out. But we're going to get phase plan, and we're going to get one of our groove basses here. That one moves in pitch too much. No. Groove 5 might be. Nope. Group 5 and Group 7. This one I already know what this one is. So let's take a look at. Oh, I forgot. They're in high notes, so I gotta move it down an octave. So clearly there is a lot of it's mostly in the multipass. What can we do to make this better? That's in decay. That's just reverb though. There's something else being randomized. Is it the... Oh, it's this filter. The other problem with this is that it needs to be like in sync mode. So what we'll do here is we will do, this is 1 bar, 2 bars. 2 bars shouldn't, yeah, we don't need anything slower than 2 bars. Okay, let's move this slightly up, and let's move this. That's just super slow, right? So we can... Oh, I did that wrong. Yeah, this one controls this one, right? And then D shrun, that controls that one. Does this one control that one? The frames, okay. Let's see. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get it to the point where the randomization can have the full sound. I'm trying to get it to the point where when it randomizes, it can stay within the what am I trying to say? It kind of stays in between the rates that I want it to stay in is between 1 bar to like 1/16th notes bar, and the filter coming in not coming in all the way down, if that makes sense. That don't make no sense. I know it didn't make sense. That makes it. Okay, so that's fast. So, boom. Okay, that makes it fast. Okay. All right. We're just trying something. This may not make it to be a song, but who knows? We'll keep it at overdrive because there's already saturation on the bass. All right, and then another channel, EQ. This is my go-to post-processing for basses. If you were wondering. Definitely need some soothe, because them frequencies are harsh. Yeah, let's go with that. Because this is generated, like the sound changes every time you replay it because it's in MIDI. So we would have to change. We'd have to render this out in audio a few times just to see, you know, specific patterns. One file per track, one file per region. This one file. Normalization off. And let's just press leave and not mute. So we can. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to bounce this like 5 times. I feel like 5 bounces of audio can get us relatively what we need. All right, let's do 6 just to stay on the even side. All right, cool. So these are 6 different bounces, and we're bound to create a pattern out of something here. So we'll go through each bounce, starting with this one, and we'll mute this one. Or not mute it, we'll solo this one, and we'll just pick out little pieces that we like. And then we'll move on to the next one and pick out little pieces, and then eventually we'll combine them all together to make a solid, cohesive drop. So let's hear it. Or I should probably, let's just mute these. That last part actually worked out really well. I'm very surprised. We don't need these ends here, so we're just gonna cut them out. So really, yeah, this whole section here, that can stay. I was very surprised how well that became a thing. So let's just do it one more time. So I like this little piece of audio nugget right here. And I like this little nugget right here. So we'll just mute these. There's nothing that I'm going to use. Wait. Wait. I should have included that too. Okay. So nothing here. I like that little piece right here. Maybe. We'll consider it for now. All right, we'll mute it for now. So we got something here. All right, let's mute these because we know which ones we chose. I like this. So if we unmute it, so we got some. All right, unmute these. See what this one. They all start with the dear. What we can do is, like, if we like a section, we can duplicate it and add it to whatever. So ooh, maybe that might be something. That's right here on the one. So far, I already know I'm not using that. Wait. Okay. This is a potential one here. What? What did I press? I don't know what I did. Okay. So far, we're getting there, but we still got a huge chunk to go to. So far, I already like the first bit right here. Actually, I could have kept that. What's this? Someone's live. So far, I like this section. And mute everything else. Let's take a listen to this. That's not too bad. I'm really trying to make this work, so I don't have to. Yep. Mute. Okay. Cool. Very messy. Nothing there. Right here. Mute. Mute. I feel like I already have that piece. Okay. So this is what we got. These little bits. Okay. So we can do a few things to really kind of make this more alive. We can manipulate the audios to create like really quick sections, or we can make some more make some more rendered audio to fill in the gaps, or we can take a whole entire new bass entirely and fill it in as we go. Or not take a whole entire new bass, but use the preset and mess around some settings here to make it more stable and stagnant to fill in the gaps. Let's okay, this is what I'll do. I'll make some stuttering effects with the audio to make it sound more, you know what I'm saying? So this already, I don't know. And we can kind of, you know what I mean? Like, oops. That ain't. Oh, it's because this is in the way. Duh. Or not. Okay. Cool. Oh, I'm not. That's why. Nope. Okay. So we just. I wonder why it just hops over every. I guess. Okay. This is so tedious. That's so terrible. Oh no. Fade out, fade out. Let's see. Okay, maybe not. I feel like, wait. Yeah, there needs to be like a little doon doon something, right? Right. Yeah. And we can kind of. And we can take these two, copy and paste them over here. These were supposed to shift over, but look, nice little staircase. I'm surprised that whole segment worked out well. Okay, it's coming together. All right, let's okay. We'll mute this too. Okay. Let's just take these pieces and render them out as new audio. No, why I did that, but okay. You know, sometimes Okay, let's bounce some as new audio. So this is our new final rendered audio. Cool. Just like that. The smallest inconvenient, it won't hop over. And to make sure, and if you don't want all this to be here, we can just create a track stack. We'll call it we'll call them leftovers. And we can just collapse it just like that. So we can make it better. Now let's take this and make it more alive. Make it more alive. Damn. Like something like create those chords that kind of interweaves in the bass. Hey, can I call you right back?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Sorry about that. Let's see. I think, yeah, something. Face plants, browse. There he is. Something that kind of like. I'm trying to think of the root note. Bam, bam, ba do do da da da. I know it sounds rough, but you know, there we go. Turn the effects down. Make that a thing. Make that a thing. And then this right here, this one we will automate to come in. So, oh, it's okay. Go for this one bar, and then this next bar. Like something like that. Maybe that's too low of a... Dun, dun. So it goes like... No. Yeah. There we go. Dun, dun. So, what can I make that a power? One. Oh wait, I can look at the MIDI of this. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so it's 1, 2, and then okay, I got you. I got you. So it needs to be like it's like this, like that, and then. That's a nice touch. These are all just going down. So, okay, put that there and boom, boom. Okay, we'll take these. What node am I on? Yeah. Maybe something. Let's remove this real quick. I mean, it's you know, even though it kind of sounds a little weird, it's different. So let's not judge it too much. Let's not judge it too much. Something like that. And let's get our hi-hats and see. Hella loud. That's too much going on. Little old school situation here. And we'll probably need one right here. Oh. Hi-hat. Perfect. I don't know what this is going to turn into. Okay, so this is something different. We'll save it and gonna stream track 6 until we give it a proper name. We'll stop right here, and this is a really good stopping point. But this is something different, something new. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining me on my morning stream. It is now noon, approximately 12:05 actually. But yeah, I got some things I got to do today. So, but we're just going to end it here. I appreciate you guys joining me this morning, and if it's not morning for you, I appreciate you guys joining me in general. Today was really nice. It was a great morning. Um and because this is a great morning, let's sign ourselves off here with something uplifting maybe. Um uh that's my stomach. That's how you know I'm hungry. All right. Here's this remix that I did 2 years ago. I think it was 2022. Yeah, yeah, 2022 had to be, because it's at the very top right here. So yeah, let's sign ourselves off.
I wish I was the one you crave. I wish there was another way. Well, shame on me, 'cause I'm the fool for wasting dreams of me and you. Nothing else that I can say, but I wish I didn't feel this way. Gave my all, but you're not mine. Heaven knows I tried. I should let it go. Know that I should walk away, but something pulls me back to you. And no matter what I do, sleeping with your ghost, yeah, I'm calling out your name. It's the only thing that I can do till I'm out of love to waste on you. I wish that I could turn it off and get back all the time I lost. I gave you everything I had, thought that you would be my last. Cry through the chaos, push through the pain, and maybe I'll find who I was.
The original track is so good. It's a track called Out of Love by Noel, Squired, and the vocalist Run. Run is amazing.
And no matter what I do, sleeping with your ghost, yeah, I'm calling out your name. It's the only thing that I can do till I'm out of love to waste on you. Out of love to waste on you. Till I'm out of love to waste on you. Out of love to waste on you. Till I'm out of love to waste on you.
Thank you guys for joining the stream. I will see you guys next week. Y'all take care. We're just gonna play this out. Peace.